Hi, I'm Simon from Sailing Britain, and we help people become more confident sailing cruisers. I'm going to share with you 5 ways to prevent your mast from coming down. What is rigging? Is everything that attaches the boat and the mast and the boom together. So you have your forestay, your backstay, your shrouds, spreaders, diagonal shrouds which are all attached to the mast, and the boom and the vang, and that's all your standing rigging. Now your running rigging, that is all to do with the sails. That is taking the sails up, which are halyards, and then there's your sheets which then control and shape your sails. So why is it important to know the condition of your rigging? Well, it's your main engine when you're a sailing boat, and you don't want that to come down because that's a big disaster. We were moving the boat from the Bahamas to Turks and Caicos. Came out of Georgetown up to the point of Long Island, past Crooked Island, then past Mayaguana, and then into Turks and Caicos. And we had a couple upstairs doing their watch. Kim, Sienna and I were in the back cabin, and suddenly the boat started to shudder. We both got up, Kim and I, we ran upstairs, came out, and as we came out we noticed that the backstay was going like that. Whoop, 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 whoop. Here we are in Turks and Caicos. It's absolutely beautiful here, but we came from Georgetown and we had a little incident, and what happened is we have a hydraulic system which pulls our backstay, which can pull our mast backwards and forwards, which gives a better shape in our sail. And if you have a look over here, oh look at that, it decided to leak, and this was just wobbling like mad, and we couldn't do anything, so we had to quickly drop the sails. It was pitch dark. I brought the topping lift and the main halyard back to support it, and then we disconnected everything, tied it down and put those straps on, and then slowly motored in. It was really scary. We had full sails up. The first thing we did was get the engine on and drop the sails and find out what was wrong, and we found out that the hydraulics on the backstay was just pouring hydraulic fluid out. So what we did, we had to secure it with lines and ratchets, and because like I say, we dropped the sails and then we just motored really slowly to Turks and Caicos. Luckily it was just an overnight sail. My heart was beating so much because it was really scary. I thought the rig was coming down. As it happened, we talked to riggers and our rig was safe. It just wouldn't be able to use the sails. So that incident was horrific. I couldn't imagine what it would be like if the actual rig had actually come down. So that made us so much more proactive on keeping attention on our rig. So what can you do to avoid from rigging failures? 1. Before you buy a boat, check when it was changed. The last thing you want to be doing is buying a boat that's got a 10 or a 12-year-old rig for wire rigging, or 15 to 20-year-old for rod rigging, because you need to get them changed, and that's a great expense. Also, it takes a lot of time out, and if you've just bought the boat, you don't want to be spending $5,000 to $20,000 on standing rigging. 2. Find out if your surveyor has done a rigging check or is going to do a rigging check. Not all of them do. Ours didn't. Once we had the boat, we had major issues with the top of our mast, and if he'd gone up, he may have seen that, and we could have got it sorted out before we'd even bought the boat, and that would have been something for the seller to organise, where we spent thousands of dollars on getting it repaired. It was just a big heartache and stopped us sailing for quite some time. So even though you've got a professional surveyor to check your boat, doesn't mean that he's been up the rig, and even if he has been up the rig, doesn't mean that he's a rig specialist. So that's something you have to keep an eye on. 3. If the surveyor didn't go up the mast, why don't you get a professional rigging company to come out and check it, and they can find out if there's any major problems or if there's anything that you need to keep an eye on, and they will just make sure that your rig is in good health. They might be able to tweak it a little bit here and there. When we had our rigging checked, they tweaked ours a little bit more. We were sailing much faster on a starboard tack, when we used to go over onto a port tack, we used to go a lot slower, and I just thought it was all to do with we have most of the weight on that side. But after they tweaked it a little bit, the boat's going as fast on both sides now, so thank you. Learning something every day. 4, once your rigging is in a good state, keep checking it when whatever the guys have told you to check. What happens is Kim, just before we go to sail, she has a walk around and she checks everything from the front to the back, everything to do with the rigging. She's found 3 problems that I didn't know we had. One of them was on the gooseneck, the other one was oil coming out of the boom vang, and the third one was oil coming out of the backstay. Kim doing the pre-checks was vital in saving us thousands and thousands of dollars with probably major problems that we could have had if we hadn't have noticed them. So Kim and I are doing an online boating safety course, and that comes complete with a manual. In that is Kim's pre-passage checklist, and that's how we found out all our issues. So our course and manual will be launching very soon. Make sure you subscribe to get more information. In the meantime, we have a boat safety audit, which is here. It's quite comprehensive and it's free, and you can see the link below. It will help you create a better and safer boating environment. And who doesn't want that? So 5, just before you're going to do a long passage, I would suggest you get a good rigging check done. We're doing a 1,500-mile passage from here in St Martin to Newport, Rhode Island in about a month's time. A couple of weeks ago, we got FKG, which is a local company here in St Martin, to do a top-to-toe rigging check, and they found a couple of issues. I'll briefly touch on what they found so you have an idea of what to look for. We needed a new baby stay. The foil on the forestay, which is the outer casing of the rod rigging in there, which is they put the sails up. There was getting damage from one of the shackles up there. Okay, so new foil is on. Look at that, looks beautiful. Okay, so it's attached at the top. And there it is, all nicely wrapped up. Just waiting for some more guys to come on and help. Nice cleaned up pin, and she's gonna go on there. We changed the shackle and changed the foil, and we changed the shackle to a Dyneema line, which is now working absolutely fantastic and not doing any damage. You don't want a shackle around here or around here because it's rubbing up against it. You put this through here. 4 loops. And then it just does a figure of 8. And you just keep going until the end. Now imagine I've carried on going, and what happens is as soon as the furler goes around, it twists up and it locks itself off, but it's not rubbing the Dyneema line, but it doesn't rub. This is what Reckman now do.
Instead of using shackles.
Instead of using shackles, which is brilliant.
Coming up to see what how your knot looks like.
Yeah.
That looks good, son.
Yeah. Also, at the top of the mast, there's a cap which goes on the top of the mast, and that needed some work around there. There's a couple of things that maybe you should be looking for to see if your rigging needs a tune-up and needs a safety check. If your mast is not straight, it's got a bit of a crook in it, maybe the tensions are wrong on your rigging. Like I said earlier, if you're going much faster on one tack than the other, then that's another big sign. Also, when it's heeled over, is the side that's closer to the water, is that really still tight? It should be a lot looser than the other side. If they're both at the same tension, that's something you should be looking at. Chain plates, these are really important. This is where the rigging is attached to the boat, and what you should do is check on the surface, but also get under the boat, have a look in there, make sure that when you can see them, that there's no black, there's not rusty, everything looks good, it's nice and clean. That is so important. And always look at your rigging, and if one of the strands has come and snapped, that's a serious problem. You must get it changed. Remember to download Kim's latest checklist. It's a boat safety audit. How safe is your boat environment? Get this audit and find out now. It's free. Links below. Bye! I just need to go back to bed.
That was good.
I just need to go back to bed. I don't know what's wrong with me today.